Why a successful woman risked it all for a dangerous affair, a journey of self-discovery. Meet Emma, a woman who seemingly has it all. A high-powered career, a stable relationship, and a glamorous life in New York City. But what happens when success isn't enough? Beneath the surface of her perfect life, Emma feels an emptiness she can't explain. That all changes when she meets Alex, a charismatic, world-weary journalist, who opens a door to a world Emma never knew she craved. In this gripping tale of passion, betrayal, and self-discovery, Emma finds herself torn between the life she's built and the emotional freedom she yearns for. As the lines between right and wrong blur, Emma faces a choice that could shatter everything she knows or set her free. Join us on this intense journey as we explore the depths of love, guilt, and the courage to start over. Will Emma risk it all for a chance at true happiness, or will she lose everything in the process? Stay tuned to find out what lies beneath the surface. Emma stood by the large window of her high-rise apartment, watching the never-ending lights of New York City flicker below. The city moved in constant motion, always alive, always busy. In many ways, it was a reflection of her life perpetually in motion, always striving, always reaching for something. Yet here she was, frozen in a moment of stillness, feeling a hollowness that refused to leave her. Her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, a message from Michael. He was working late again, caught up in yet another project at his law firm. They had been together for 5 years, and he was the type of man every woman was supposed to want. Reliable, successful, good-looking. But lately, Emma found herself wondering if there was something fundamentally missing between them. Conversations had become short, almost transactional. Their intimacy, once exciting, now felt like a distant memory routine, like checking a box. She sighed and turned away from the window. Her life looked perfect on the outside. She had a job people envied working as a marketing executive at a top-tier fashion company. She had an apartment in the heart of the city, a man who loved her, and a future that seemed set on the right course. And yet, despite all this, Emma couldn't shake the growing sense of dissatisfaction bubbling inside her. It had started small, this feeling. At first, it was just a fleeting thought, a subtle discontent that lingered at the end of long workdays. Then it became stronger, tugging at her more persistently. There were days she felt like she was going through the motions, checking off achievements that didn't really matter. Her life had become a series of tasks, climbing higher in her career, attending corporate events, keeping up appearances at dinner parties. But beneath all that, there was a yearning, a sense that she had lost touch with herself somewhere along the way. Tonight, as she stood in her carefully curated apartment, she felt it more acutely than ever. She didn't just want more, she needed more. A spark, a sense of passion, something to break the monotony. Her mind drifted to Michael again, to the comfortable life they had built together. She loved him, didn't she? Or was it just the comfort she loved? The familiarity? The sense of security he provided? Her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of her phone buzzing again. This time, it wasn't Michael. It was a message from Sophia, her best friend and colleague, reminding her about the corporate gala they were attending the following evening. A charity event thrown by the company's CEO, it was another one of those high society evenings Emma had grown used to attending. The dress, the makeup, the small talk with people she barely knew, it all felt like a performance. But she would go, as always, because that's what was expected of her. She glanced at the message and responded quickly, confirming she'd be there. Then, almost instinctively, her eyes wandered back to the window. The city below was moving, constantly moving, while she felt like she was standing still, trapped in a life she wasn't sure was hers anymore. The next evening, Emma found herself stepping into the grand ballroom of the hotel where the gala was being held. The air was thick with the scent of expensive perfume, and the soft hum of conversation filled the room. Waiters in crisp black uniforms moved gracefully between guests, offering champagne and hors d'oeuvres. Everything was pristine, perfect, just like the lives of the people in attendance, or so it seemed. Emma moved through the crowd with practiced ease, greeting familiar faces and exchanging pleasantries. She smiled, laughed at the right moments, and played the role she had mastered over the years. But beneath it all, she felt the same emptiness, the same nagging question of whether this life, this version of herself, was truly what she wanted. It was then that she saw him, Alex. He stood by the bar, alone, a glass of whiskey in hand. There was something different about him, something that caught her attention immediately. He didn't fit in with the carefully groomed crowd around him. He looked older, maybe mid-40s, with silver streaks in his dark hair and a rugged, world-weary air about him. His eyes held a depth she wasn't used to seeing in these circles, a quiet intensity that made her feel like he saw right through the pretense of the evening. Their eyes met briefly, and Emma felt an unexpected thrill run through her. It was fleeting, but undeniable. She quickly looked away, trying to shake off the strange sensation. But for the rest of the night, she found herself glancing in his direction, drawn to him in a way she couldn't explain. Eventually, their paths crossed. She was standing near the bar, sipping a glass of champagne, when he approached. "You don't seem like you want to be here," he said, his voice low, with a hint of amusement. His accent was unmistakably British, adding to his air of mystery. Emma smiled, caught off guard by his directness. "What makes you say that?" He shrugged, taking a sip of his drink. "You don't strike me as the type to enjoy small talk and superficial conversations." She laughed softly. "You've got me figured out already, huh?" "Not entirely," he replied, his eyes meeting hers again, this time holding her gaze. "But I'd like to." There was something in his tone, in the way he looked at her, that sent a jolt of excitement through Emma. She felt her heart quicken, her mind racing with possibilities she hadn't allowed herself to consider in years. She should have walked away then, politely excused herself, and rejoined the crowd. But she didn't. Instead, they spent the next hour talking about everything and nothing. He told her about his career as a journalist, traveling the world, covering stories that mattered. She told him about her job, her life in New York, and the growing sense of restlessness she couldn't shake. They shared stories of places they'd been, dreams they had, and regrets they carried. It was a conversation unlike any she'd had in years, deep, real, and honest. As the night wore on, Emma realized something. She felt alive, in a way she hadn't felt in a long time. And it wasn't just because of Alex. It was because, for the first time in years, she was allowing herself to be vulnerable, to acknowledge the parts of her life she had been ignoring. By the time they parted ways, exchanging numbers with a promise to keep in touch, Emma knew that something had shifted. She didn't know what it was yet, or where it would lead, but for the first time in a long time, she felt the spark of something new. As she left the gala that night, her mind was buzzing with thoughts of Alex, of the life she was living and the life she wanted to live. And deep down, she knew that things were about to change whether she was ready or not. Emma awoke the next morning, with the city's familiar sounds filtering in through her window, the honking of taxis, the distant chatter of people on the street, and the rhythmic hum of the subway beneath her building. The sun streamed in, casting a warm glow over her bedroom, but despite the beauty of the day, a heaviness clung to her heart. She couldn't shake the thoughts of Alex from the gala the night before, nor the way he made her feel alive and seen, yet frightened of the unknown. She rolled over and glanced at the clock, realizing she was already running late. Michael would be expecting her for brunch, a ritual they had maintained, despite the growing distance between them. As she hurriedly got ready, she caught glimpses of herself in the mirror, adjusting her blouse and applying makeup. But today, it felt different. Today, She was hyper-aware of the mask she wore, the polished exterior that hid the confusion and yearning within. When she arrived at the restaurant, Michael was already seated at their usual table, a corner booth with a view of the bustling street outside. He looked up, a smile spreading across his face as he caught sight of her. "There you are." "I was beginning to think you'd sleep the day away," he teased, his voice warm and inviting. Emma returned his smile, but it felt forced. She slid into the booth across from him, trying to shake off the remnants of the previous night. "Sorry, I lost track of time," she replied, picking up the menu. "What's good here?" As Michael enthusiastically recommended dishes, Emma found herself tuning in and out of the conversation, her mind wandering back to Alex. She could still hear his laughter, see the way his eyes lit up when she shared her thoughts. But here, with Michael, the conversation felt mundane, filled with safe topics: work, upcoming events, their plans for the week. She forced herself to engage, nodding and smiling as he spoke, but her mind was elsewhere. "Emma?" Michael's voice broke through her thoughts, and she looked up to find him studying her, concern etched on his face. "Are you okay? You seem a little distracted today." Her heart raced. She couldn't tell him the truth. How could she explain that she was torn between the life they had built together and the exhilarating uncertainty that Alex represented? "I'm fine," she lied, trying to sound convincing. "Just a bit tired, I guess." Michael didn't press further, but Emma could see the flicker of doubt in his eyes. As they ate, the weight of the conversation hung between them, a reminder of the distance that had grown over time. Emma wondered if he sensed it too, the way they had both been going through the motions, avoiding the real issues that lay beneath the surface. Later that afternoon, as Emma sat in her office, the dull hum of fluorescent lights overhead, she found it increasingly difficult to concentrate on her work. The reports and spreadsheets before her blurred into a haze as thoughts of Alex invaded her mind. It was absurd she hardly knew him, yet the connection they had felt profound. She could still remember the way he had listened, how he had challenged her thoughts, and shared his own experiences with a sincerity that was refreshing. It made her question everything: her job, her relationship, and the path she had been following without question. The more she thought about it, the more restless she felt. The afternoon dragged on, and despite her best efforts to focus, her mind kept drifting back to the gala. The fleeting moments they had shared, the spark of excitement that pulsed between them, it felt so alive and intoxicating. She glanced at her phone, half expecting a message from him, but there was nothing. As the clock ticked closer to 5, Emma's restlessness turned into a boldness she hadn't anticipated. She pulled up her contacts and found Alex's name, her heart racing as she contemplated what it meant to reach out. Could she really take this step? Was it just curiosity, or was it something deeper? Before she could overthink it, she opened a new message and typed, "Hey, it's Emma from the gala. I had a great time chatting last night. Would you like to grab a coffee sometime?" After hitting send, she felt a rush of adrenaline mixed with anxiety. What had she just done? She quickly shut her phone, attempting to refocus on her work, but her heart raced as she waited for a response. Hours passed, and the anxiety grew heavier. Finally, as she was about to leave the office, her phone buzzed, and she nearly dropped it in her rush to check. "Hey, Emma. I'd love to grab coffee. How about tomorrow afternoon?" Her heart soared, and she couldn't help the smile that broke across her face. "Sounds perfect. Let's meet at that cafe near Central Park at 3? "See you then," he replied, and Emma felt a thrill run through her. This was it. She was stepping into the unknown, taking a risk that could change everything. The next day felt like an eternity as she prepared for her meeting with Alex. She picked out her outfit with care, opting for a flowy sundress that felt light and free, a stark contrast to the tailored suits she wore to work. Emma wanted to feel different, to embody the excitement she felt about this meeting. As she walked toward the cafe, her mind raced with possibilities. What would they talk about? Would there still be the same chemistry? And more importantly, what did she want from this encounter? The cafe was bustling with people, the rich aroma of coffee filling the air. Emma stepped inside, her heart pounding in anticipation. She spotted Alex at a table near the window, his relaxed demeanor contrasting sharply with the tension building inside her. He looked up as she approached, a smile spreading across his face, and for a moment, the noise of the cafe faded away. "Hey there," he said, standing to greet her, and she couldn't help but notice how his presence filled the space around him. "You look lovely." "Thanks," she replied, feeling a blush creep to her cheeks. They sat down, and for a moment, they exchanged pleasantries, but the atmosphere crackled with unspoken words. As they talked over coffee, Emma felt her guards slowly melting away. Alex's stories captivated her, his insights into the world around them providing a fresh perspective she hadn't realized she craved. He talked about his travels, the people he had met, and the stories he had covered, each word igniting a flicker of excitement within her. "So, what's it like working in fashion?" he asked, leaning forward with genuine interest. "It's glamorous on the outside, but it can be so suffocating," Emma admitted, finding it easy to share her frustrations with him. "It's all about appearances, and sometimes I feel like I'm just a part of a machine." He nodded, understanding in his eyes. "I get that. I often feel the same way in journalism, especially with the pressure to write what sells rather than what matters." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, each moment drawing them closer together. Emma felt alive and invigorated, like she was rediscovering parts of herself that had been buried under years of routine. She began to open up about her dissatisfaction with her life, the emptiness she felt despite having everything she thought she wanted. "Sometimes I wonder if I'm just chasing after what I think I'm supposed to want," she confessed, her heart racing at the vulnerability she felt in sharing this with him. Alex studied her for a moment, his expression serious. "It's easy to get lost in expectations, but you're the one who has to live your life, don't forget that." His words resonated deeply, echoing in the back of her mind. Emma realized how rare it was to connect with someone on such a level, and it both thrilled and terrified her. As the afternoon sun streamed through the window, casting a warm glow over their table, Emma found herself leaning closer to Alex, caught up in the moment. It felt as if time had stopped, the noise of the cafe fading into the background as they lost themselves in conversation. But even in this blissful moment, a voice inside her whispered caution. She couldn't ignore the consequences of her choices, the potential fallout of what this connection could mean. And yet, in that moment, it felt exhilarating to simply be herself, unfiltered, unrestrained, and fully present. Their meeting extended beyond coffee as they wandered through Central Park, continuing their conversation amidst the vibrant colors of the autumn leaves. They laughed, shared stories, and enjoyed each other's company, creating an undeniable bond that felt both intoxicating and terrifying. By the time they parted ways, Emma knew that something had shifted within her. This chance encounter with Alex had awakened something deep inside, a longing for authenticity, for connection, and for a life that was truly hers. As she walked back to her apartment, her heart was lighter, her thoughts clearer. Emma realized she was standing at a crossroads, and the choices she made from this point on would shape her future. She had taken a step into the unknown, and for the first time in a long time, she felt excited about what lay ahead. The days following her coffee date with Alex were a whirlwind of emotion for Emma. Each moment felt charged with possibilities, and she found herself replaying their conversations in her mind, savoring the way he listened, how he challenged her thoughts, and the way he made her feel seen in a world where she often felt invisible. At work, she struggled to concentrate on her tasks. Her colleagues chatted about upcoming projects and corporate goals, but all Emma could think about was Alex's laughter, The way his eyes sparkled when he spoke about his travels, and the spark of connection they had shared. She felt a tugging at her heart, a mixture of excitement and anxiety. What did it mean that she was drawn to someone outside her carefully curated life? Was it merely infatuation, or was there something deeper? On Friday evening, Emma received a text from Alex. "Hey, hope you're having a great day. Would you like to catch a movie tonight? I know a great little indie film showing at the cinema downtown." Her heart raced at the thought of seeing him again. "Absolutely." "What time?" she replied, barely able to contain her excitement. They agreed to meet at the theater at 7, and as the clock inched closer to that hour, Emma felt a flurry of anticipation and nerve. She wanted everything to be perfect, to feel comfortable and confident. She chose her outfit carefully, a simple yet elegant dress that accentuated her figure without feeling overly flashy. As she applied her makeup, she couldn't shake the feeling that tonight would be a turning point in her life. Arriving at the cinema, Emma spotted Alex waiting by the entrance, his casual attire making him look effortlessly handsome. He smiled when he saw her, and her heart fluttered at the sight. They exchanged greetings and moved to buy their tickets, the comfortable banter flowing easily between them. As they settled into their seats, the theater darkened, and the film began. Emma tried to focus on the screen, but her thoughts kept drifting to Alex, to the way he leaned closer during certain scenes, sharing quiet laughter that echoed in the dark. Each shared smile and whispered comment only deepened the connection she felt with him. By the time the credits rolled, Emma was buzzing with energy. They stepped out into the cool night air, and she glanced at Alex, feeling a sense of camaraderie that surprised her. "What did you think?" he asked, his voice tinged with excitement. "It was amazing. I love films like that, so raw and honest," she replied, her heart racing as she watched him. "I know. The way they captured the struggle of finding one's identity, it really resonated with me." He paused, turning to face her more directly. "What about you? Do you feel like you're on a journey of discovery?" Emma's breath caught in her throat. His question struck a chord, and she felt a wave of vulnerability wash over her. "I think I've been trying to figure that out for a while," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's like I've been living on autopilot, following a path that was set for me without ever really questioning if it's what I want." Alex nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I get that. Sometimes it takes a little push to realize what's been missing. I've had my fair share of those moments." They walked through the city, the streets illuminated by neon lights, and the laughter of people enjoying their Friday night. The energy of New York was electric, and Emma felt herself drawn into it. With Alex beside her, the world felt vibrant and full of possibility. As they strolled along the avenue, Emma's heart raced with each passing moment. She was overwhelmed by the connection blossoming between them, yet the weight of her reality pressed on her shoulders. Here she was, out with a man who made her feel alive, and yet she couldn't shake the thoughts of Michael and the life she had built. Was she being unfair to him by exploring this new connection? They found themselves at a small park, the sounds of the city fading into the background as they sat on a bench. The night was cool, and Emma shivered slightly. Alex noticed and shrugged off his jacket, draping it over her shoulders. "Here, you need this more than I do," he said, his warmth wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. "Thank you," she replied, feeling both flattered and warm from the gesture. The intimacy of the moment was palpable, and Emma fought against the desire to lean closer to him, to close the distance that felt both exciting and daunting. After a moment of silence, Alex turned to her, his expression earnest. "I don't want to push you into anything you're not ready for, but I feel a connection between us. And I think it's worth exploring if you're open to it." His words sent a shiver down her spine. Emma's heart raced at the idea of diving into something new, yet fear gripped her. "I don't know, Alex." I'm in a complicated situation. I'm with someone, she said, her voice tinged with uncertainty. I understand, he replied, his tone gentle. But sometimes the heart knows what it wants, even when our heads try to convince us otherwise. You deserve to be happy, Emma. The sincerity in his voice made her heart ache. She wanted to believe him, to follow her heart, but the reality of her relationship with Michael loomed large. I just don't want to hurt anyone, she said softly, her mind racing with the implications of what Alex was suggesting. Then don't rush into anything, he replied, his gaze steady. Let's take it one step at a time. There's no pressure. Just two people getting to know each other. His words eased some of the tension within her, but Emma knew she had to tread carefully. This newfound connection felt exhilarating, but it was also dangerous. How could she explore her feelings for Alex while navigating the reality of her life with Michael? As they continued to talk under the stars, Emma felt a warmth blooming in her chest. The night was still young, and for the first time in a long time, she allowed herself to relax and enjoy the moment. They shared stories, laughter, and glimpses of vulnerability, each exchange deepening the bond between them. Eventually, the conversation drifted to their aspirations, their dreams for the future, and Emma found herself sharing more than she had anticipated. I've always wanted to travel, she confessed, her eyes lighting up with excitement. To explore different cultures, to truly understand the world beyond this city. Alex smiled, a glimmer of understanding in his eyes. Then why not? Life is too short to be stuck in one place, doing something that doesn't make you happy. Emma nodded, feeling a surge of determination. You're right. I need to start living for myself. As the night wore on, the energy between them shifted subtly, a growing tension charged with unspoken possibilities. Emma felt a flutter of desire in her stomach as they leaned closer, their laughter mingling with the cool night air. She was lost in his presence, but a nagging voice reminded her of her responsibilities, of the life she had built with Michael. Eventually, they parted ways outside her apartment building. Alex's eyes held a mixture of hope and understanding as they stood facing each other. I had a great time tonight, Emma. I hope we can do this again soon. Me too, she replied, her heart pounding as she felt the pull of attraction between them. For a moment, she wanted nothing more than to close the distance and lean into him, to explore what lay beneath the surface of their connection. But instead, she stepped back, creating a small space between them. I should probably get some sleep, she said, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside her. Of course, he said, his expression softening. Take care of yourself. As Emma watched him walk away, she felt a mix of exhilaration and confusion. Her heart was alive with possibility, yet the reality of her situation loomed over her like a storm cloud. She was at a crossroads, and the choices she made from here on out would shape her future. That night, as she lay in bed, Emma couldn't sleep. Her mind raced with thoughts of Alex and the undeniable connection they had forged. She tossed and turned, grappling with her feelings. Did she have the courage to pursue this new path, knowing it could lead to heartbreak for herself and Michael? The next morning, she awoke with a renewed sense of determination. Today, she would confront her feelings head-on. She couldn't continue living a life that felt untrue to who she was. Emma resolved to have an honest conversation with Michael, a conversation she had been avoiding for far too long. As she prepared for the day, her heart raced with anticipation and fear. The prospect of change was daunting, but deep down, she knew it was necessary. She had to find her voice, to speak her truth, no matter the consequences. At brunch that Sunday, the atmosphere was different. Emma could feel the tension between them, a growing awareness that something had shifted. Michael seemed preoccupied, his attention divided between his phone and the conversation. Emma could sense that he was waiting for her to initiate the talk. Michael, she began, her voice steady but laced with anxiety. "Can we talk about us?" He looked up, his expression serious. "Of course. What's on your mind?" Taking a deep breath, Emma steeled herself. "I've been feeling restless for a while now, and I think it's time we addressed it. I don't want to keep pretending everything is perfect when it's not." Michael's brow furrowed, and Emma could see the gears turning in his mind. "I've sensed that too," he admitted slowly. "But I thought it was just a phase. Are you saying you want to end things?" "I don't know," Emma replied, her heart racing. "But I need to be honest with you. I've met someone, and it's forced me to reevaluate my life and what I want." Silence fell between them, heavy and suffocating. Michael's expression hardened, and Emma felt a rush of guilt. "Who is he?" he asked, his voice low. "It's Alex." "We met at the gala," she said, feeling exposed and vulnerable. "Of course," he replied, his tone laced with bitterness. "I should have known. You've been different since then." Emma nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "I didn't mean for this to happen, but I can't ignore how I feel. I need to explore this part of myself." Michael's silence spoke volumes, and Emma felt her heart shatter as the reality of her words sunk in. This conversation was tearing apart the life they had built, but deep down, she knew it was necessary. "Emma, I thought we were happy," he said finally, his voice strained. "Are you saying all of this is my fault?" "No, it's not about blame," she replied, her voice shaking. "I just feel like I've lost myself, and I can't keep living a lie. I need to figure out what makes me truly happy." The hurt in his eyes was palpable, and Emma felt a wave of regret wash over her. "Maybe we should take a break," he suggested, his voice barely above a whisper. "I need time to process this." Emma nodded, feeling her heart break as the gravity of their situation hit her. She knew she had to let go of the life she had known, but it felt like she was stepping into the unknown. As they parted ways, Emma felt a mixture of relief and heartache. She was finally being honest, but the cost weighed heavily on her heart. With every step she took away from Michael, she felt both liberated and lost, teetering on the edge of a new chapter in her life. With Alex waiting on the other side, Emma felt both a thrill of excitement and a deep sense of trepidation. She was opening herself to something beautiful, but she also knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. For the first time in a long time, she felt a sense of purpose, a drive to seek her truth, no matter the consequences. The world felt different, filled with possibility, and Emma was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The days that followed Emma's breakup with Michael were a kaleidoscope of emotions, freedom, guilt, excitement, and uncertainty swirled together, creating a whirlwind in her heart and mind. She found herself grappling with the consequences of her decision, knowing that leaving Michael meant stepping into an unknown territory filled with potential and risks. Her mornings felt lighter, each sunrise ushering in a new beginning, but the afternoons often found her wrestling with feelings of guilt. She had cared for Michael, invested so much of her life into their relationship, and now she was faced with the reality that she had walked away from it all. Emma often revisited her conversation with Alex, recalling the warmth of his smile and the way he listened to her without judgment. The connection they had forged felt like a beacon of hope in her otherwise tumultuous life. On a Thursday afternoon, after a particularly grueling week at work, Emma received a message from Alex. "Hey, I've been thinking about you. How about dinner tonight? I know a great place that serves amazing Italian food." Her heart leaped at the invitation. "Sounds perfect. What time?" she quickly replied, the thrill of anticipation coursing through her veins. They agreed to meet at 7, and Emma spent the rest of the afternoon lost in thought. As she prepared for the evening, she found herself smiling at her reflection, feeling a surge of confidence that had been absent for far too long. Tonight, she would embrace this new chapter of her life, leaving behind the weight of her past. Arriving at the restaurant, she spotted Alex waiting at a cozy corner table, a soft glow from the candles illuminating his face. He looked up and smiled as she approached, his eyes sparkling with warmth. "You look incredible," he said, his compliment wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. "Thank you. You don't look too shabby yourself," Emma replied, her heart fluttering as they settled into their seats. The atmosphere was intimate, the soft sounds of laughter and clinking glasses creating a warm backdrop for their conversation. As they browsed the menu, their conversation flowed effortlessly. They shared stories about their childhoods, their dreams, and what made them tick. Emma felt liberated as she spoke openly about her recent breakup, the weight of her past slowly lifting as she revealed her journey of self-discovery. "I can't believe you took that step," Alex said, genuine admiration evident in his voice. "It takes a lot of courage to prioritize your happiness." "I was scared at first," Emma admitted, "but I realized that I had been living for someone else for too long. It was time to reclaim my life." Their food arrived, and as they dug into their meals, the laughter and connection only deepened. They talked about their favorite travel destinations, and Emma found herself lost in the possibilities of adventure. "I want to see the world, to experience everything it has to offer," she said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Alex leaned closer, his gaze steady. "Then let's make a plan. We could start small, maybe a weekend trip somewhere nearby. You deserve to explore and have fun." The idea excited Emma, but a flicker of doubt crept in. "But what if it's too soon?" "I don't want to rush into anything. Life is too short to overthink," he replied, a playful smile on his lips. "Let's just enjoy the moment and see where it takes us. We can figure it out together." His words ignited a fire within her. For the first time, Emma felt the freedom to explore her desires without hesitation. As they finished dinner, the evening took on a new sense of possibility. They lingered over dessert, the atmosphere electric, as they exchanged playful banter and meaningful glances. After they left the restaurant, the city was alive with energy, and Emma felt invigorated. They wandered through the streets, laughing and sharing stories, their chemistry undeniable. As they approached a park, Alex suggested they sit for a while, and they found a quiet bench under the glow of streetlights. "This feels nice," Emma said, her voice soft as she looked up at the stars. "It's like a breath of fresh air after everything." "I'm glad you feel that way," Alex replied, his tone sincere. "You deserve to embrace this new chapter fully." As they sat together, a comfortable silence enveloped them, but Emma could sense the tension building, an undercurrent of something more between them. The attraction was palpable, and she could feel her heart racing as she glanced at Alex. His gaze locked on her with an intensity that sent butterflies fluttering in her stomach. "Can I ask you something?" Alex said, breaking the silence. "Of course," she replied, her curiosity piqued. "What do you really want?" he asked, his expression serious. "What do you see for yourself in the next few years?" Emma considered his question carefully. It was a loaded inquiry, one that resonated deeply with her newfound sense of self. "I want to travel, to experience new cultures, and to discover who I am without the expectations of others," she replied, her voice steady. "I want to create a life that reflects my true desires." Alex nodded, his eyes shining with understanding. "That's beautiful, Emma. You deserve to chase your dreams." Their conversation deepened, exploring their hopes and fears as they began to peel back the layers of their lives. Emma felt vulnerable yet exhilarated, the connection between them growing stronger with every shared secret. But as the evening wore on, a cloud of uncertainty began to gather in the back of her mind. Was she moving too fast? Was this connection real, or was it merely a distraction from the pain of her recent breakup? "I don't want to be a rebound," Emma admitted suddenly, her heart racing at the thought. Alex turned to her, his expression earnest. "You're not? I'm not trying to replace anything for you. I genuinely enjoy being with you, and I want to explore this connection. But I also respect your need for space and time to heal." His words soothed her worries, and Emma felt a wave of relief wash over her. She didn't want to rush into something that could complicate her healing process, but the desire to be with Alex was undeniable. As they walked back toward her apartment, Emma felt a sense of warmth enveloping her, a feeling of hope that had been absent for far too long. With each step, she was reminded of the courage it took to take control of her life and pursue her own happiness. When they arrived at her building, Emma hesitated for a moment at the door, feeling the weight of the night's emotions pressing on her. "Thank you for tonight, Alex. I had an amazing time," she said, her voice soft but sincere. "Me too," he replied, his gaze steady. "I'm glad we took this step together." As they stood facing each other, the moment hung in the air, charged with unspoken possibilities. Emma felt a flutter of nervous excitement. Did she dare to close the distance between them? To lean in for a kiss that felt inevitable yet terrifying? But before she could make a move, Alex took a step back, a small smile playing on his lips. "I should probably let you get some rest. I don't want to overwhelm you," he said gently. Emma's heart sank slightly, but she nodded, understanding his intention. "You're right. Thank you for being so patient with me." "Always," he replied, his eyes warm. "Let's do this again soon." As Emma watched him walk away, she felt a mixture of relief and longing. The night had opened a door to new possibilities, yet she still had her journey of self-discovery ahead. She knew that she had to embrace this change, to step into the unknown with courage and an open heart. That night, as she lay in bed, Emma felt a sense of hope blossoming within her. She was no longer tied to the past. She was free to explore her dreams, her desires, and her identity. And perhaps, just perhaps, she was also free to embrace the possibility of love with someone who truly saw her. With a smile on her lips, Emma closed her eyes, ready to welcome whatever adventures lay ahead. The sun spilled through the curtains, casting a warm glow across Emma's bedroom as she awoke to the sound of birds chirping outside. It was Saturday, a day that promised freedom and endless possibilities. As she lay in bed, memories of the previous evening replayed in her mind: the laughter, the connection with Alex, and the realization that she was beginning to embrace her true self. With a renewed sense of purpose, Emma jumped out of bed and started her day. She made herself a cup of coffee, savoring the rich aroma that filled her kitchen. The ordinary act of brewing coffee felt different now, as if it were part of a new ritual of self-care. She had been so consumed by her past that she had forgotten to relish the simple pleasures of life. After a quick shower, Emma decided to take a walk in the nearby park. The morning air was crisp, and the sun's rays danced through the trees, creating a picturesque scene. As she strolled along the winding paths, she felt the weight of her worries lifting, replaced by a sense of clarity. It was a beautiful day to reflect and recharge. Emma settled on a bench overlooking a small pond, watching the ducks glide gracefully across the water. She took out her journal, a new habit she had adopted to help process her thoughts and feelings. Writing had always been an outlet for her creativity, and now it served as a way to document her journey of self-discovery. As she penned her thoughts, she couldn't shake the excitement building within her about seeing Alex again. They had shared so much in their short time together, and she felt a connection that was rare and precious. But beneath that excitement lay a tinge of apprehension. Was she ready to open herself up fully to someone new? As the hours passed, Emma lost herself in her writing, exploring her hopes, fears, and dreams. She penned a list of things she wanted to experience, places she wanted to visit, and qualities she wanted in a future partner. It was an empowering exercise, a way to reclaim her identity after feeling lost for so long. Later that afternoon, Emma received a message from Alex. "Hey, I've been thinking about you all day. Would you like to join me for a hike tomorrow morning? I know a beautiful trail that I think you'd love." The invitation sent a rush of adrenaline through her. "That sounds amazing." "I'd love to," she replied, her heart racing at the thought of spending more time with him. That evening, Emma prepared her gear for the hike, feeling a surge of anticipation. She carefully packed a small backpack with water, snacks, and a first aid kit, ensuring she was ready for any adventure that awaited them. As she laid out her favorite hiking outfit, a comfortable pair of leggings and a bright tank top, she felt a sense of empowerment. The next morning, Emma woke up early, excitement bubbling within her. After a quick breakfast, she made her way to the trailhead, where Alex had suggested they meet. The morning sun bathed everything in a golden hue, and she felt invigorated by the fresh air as she arrived. Alex was already there, waiting with a big smile on his face. He looked relaxed and happy, wearing a lightweight jacket and a pair of hiking boots that hinted at his adventurous spirit. "You made it," he exclaimed, his enthusiasm infectious. "Wouldn't miss it for the world," Emma replied, returning his smile. The two exchanged greetings and set off down the trail, the lush greenery enveloping them as they walked side by side. As they hiked, they shared stories and laughter, the rhythm of their conversation flowing naturally like the creek that meandered alongside the path. Emma felt invigorated by the beauty of nature and the camaraderie they shared. The sounds of the forest, the rustling leaves, the distant chirping of birds formed a soothing backdrop to their adventure. Midway through the hike, they reached a scenic overlook that offered a breathtaking view of the valley below. Emma stood in awe, taking in the expansive landscape that stretched out before her. "Wow, this is incredible," she breathed, her heart swelling with appreciation for the moment. "I'm glad you like it," Alex said, standing beside her. "I come here often to clear my mind and find inspiration." They sat on a rocky ledge, enjoying the stunning view and the peacefulness that surrounded them. Emma felt a sense of belonging she hadn't experienced in a long time. With Alex, she was free to be herself, to explore her passions without fear of judgment. "Can I share something with you?" Alex asked, his tone serious but gentle. "Of course," Emma replied, turning to face him. "I know you've been through a lot recently, and I want you to know that I'm here for you. I'm not looking to rush things, but I genuinely care about what we have," he said, his eyes locking onto hers with sincerity. Emma felt her heart flutter at his words, a mixture of relief and warmth washing over her. "Thank you, Alex. It means a lot to me that you're being so patient and understanding. I just need to take things one step at a time." "Absolutely," he said, a smile returning to his face. "I'm in no hurry. I just want to enjoy our time together and see where this goes." As they continued their hike, Emma felt a newfound sense of freedom and trust. She realized that opening up to Alex was an opportunity to build a connection rooted in honesty and respect, something she had longed for in her previous relationship. When they finished their hike, they decided to grab lunch at a nearby cafe, their conversation flowing effortlessly as they enjoyed a meal together. They shared stories of their favorite travel experiences, what inspired them, and the little things that brought them joy. Each moment felt like a building block, solidifying the foundation of their budding relationship. After lunch, they wandered through a local art market, where vibrant paintings and handmade crafts filled the stalls. Emma admired a colorful painting that depicted a landscape similar to the one they had just hiked, feeling a tug of inspiration. "I love this piece," she said, her eyes wide with appreciation. "Then you should get it," Alex encouraged, his gaze filled with admiration. "Art is a reflection of who we are, and if it speaks to you, it's worth having in your life." With Alex's encouragement, Emma bought the painting, feeling a sense of excitement and ownership. It would serve as a reminder of this day and the courage she was finding within herself. As they walked back to the car, Emma couldn't help but feel grateful for the unexpected direction her life had taken. She was no longer just the girl who had lost herself in a relationship. She was a woman reclaiming her identity and embracing new experiences. With Alex by her side, she felt empowered to continue this journey of self-discovery. The day had opened her eyes to the beauty of life, the thrill of adventure, and the importance of surrounding herself with people who uplifted her spirit. As they said their goodbyes, Emma felt a warmth in her chest. "Thank you for today. It was exactly what I needed," she said, her smile genuine. "Anytime," Alex replied, his eyes sparkling. "Let's plan more adventures soon." Emma watched him drive away, feeling a mixture of contentment and excitement. She had taken a leap of faith by opening her heart to new possibilities, and with each step she took, she felt more confident in the direction her life was heading. Back at home, Emma hung the painting on her wall, stepping back to admire it. The vibrant colors seemed to mirror the transformation she was undergoing. She was ready to embrace the unknown, to take risks, and to find joy in the little moments. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over her apartment, Emma felt a sense of peace settle within her. She was no longer bound by the past. She was a woman stepping boldly into her future, ready to explore everything that life had to offer. The following week unfolded like a beautiful tapestry of newfound freedom and exploration for Emma. She filled her days with activities that nourished her spirit and connected her with her true self. The painting she had purchased hung proudly in her living room, a daily reminder of her commitment to embracing the changes in her life. Emma decided to dive into her hobbies, rediscovering her passion for photography. Armed with her camera, she ventured out into the city, capturing its vibrant colors and bustling life. Each click of the shutter felt like a cathartic release, allowing her to express emotions she had long buried. The streets, once filled with shadows of doubt, now appeared bright and full of potential through her lens. One sunny afternoon, while exploring a local park, she stumbled upon an open-air market. The lively atmosphere drew her in, filled with the sounds of laughter, music, and the enticing aroma of street food. It was a feast for the senses, and Emma felt her heart race with excitement. As she wandered through the stalls, she couldn't help but snap photos of everything that caught her eye: the colorful produce, the artisan crafts, and the cheerful faces of the vendors. In the midst of her exploration, she bumped into a familiar figure. "Emma, fancy seeing you here." It was Alex, his smile wide and genuine as he approached her. "Hey, what a nice surprise," she exclaimed, feeling a flutter of joy at the sight of him. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, his eyes twinkling. "Of course. I'd love that," Emma replied, feeling a rush of warmth. They meandered through the market together, sharing stories about their favorite foods and trying samples from various stalls. Emma couldn't help but admire how comfortable they had become with each other. Their conversations flowed effortlessly, filled with laughter and playful banter. At one stall, they discovered homemade lemonade and decided to treat themselves. As they sipped their drinks, Emma glanced at Alex, noticing the way sunlight danced in his hair. "You know, I've been thinking a lot about our conversation during the hike," she said, her tone thoughtful. "Oh? What about it?" Alex replied, genuinely curious. "I realized how important it is to surround myself with people who encourage me to be myself. I feel like I'm finally stepping into the person I want to be," she confessed, her voice steady. "Thank you for being part of that journey." Alex's expression softened, and he took a moment to respond. "That means a lot to me, Emma. I care about you, and I want to support you as you explore your passions. You deserve to live life to the fullest." His words wrapped around her like a warm blanket, reinforcing the connection they had built. As they continued to explore the market, Emma felt a growing sense of comfort and excitement about where their relationship might lead. They eventually stumbled upon a small art exhibit showcasing local artists. Emma's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as she pointed out the pieces that resonated with her. "I love how art can tell a story," she said, admiring a vibrant mural depicting a cityscape. Alex nodded, his gaze fixed on her. "Art is a reflection of life, capturing emotions we sometimes can't express in words," he replied. "It's like photography for you." Feeling inspired, Emma turned to him. "You should try taking photos with me sometime. I think you'd enjoy it." "I'd love that," he said, a smile spreading across his face. "Maybe we can have a little photo adventure this weekend?" "Absolutely. Let's do it," Emma replied, her heart swelling with excitement at the thought of spending more time with him. As the day wore on, they continued to laugh and share their thoughts on the art around them, their chemistry palpable. It was easy to forget the past, and in those moments, Emma felt like she was living in the present, embracing the joys that came with it. Later that evening, after they parted ways, Emma reflected on the day as she prepared dinner in her cozy kitchen. She felt a sense of gratitude for the little moments that had begun to fill her life, moments that allowed her to reconnect with her passions and explore new relationships. As she sat down to eat, her phone buzzed with a message from Alex. "Had a great time today. Looking forward to our photo adventure." Emma smiled, feeling her heart skip a beat. "Me too. Can't wait," she replied, her excitement bubbling over. The rest of the week passed quickly, filled with anticipation for the weekend ahead. Emma found herself counting down the days, relishing the thought of spending more time with Alex, capturing the world through their lenses together. On Saturday morning, Emma awoke early, eager to prepare for their photo adventure. She picked out a comfortable outfit and made sure her camera was fully charged. After a quick breakfast, she headed out to meet Alex at the agreed-upon location, a picturesque park known for its stunning landscapes and vibrant flora. When she arrived, Alex was already waiting, a playful grin on his face as he waved at her. "Ready to capture some magic?" he asked, his enthusiasm infectious. "Absolutely," Emma replied, her heart racing with excitement. They began their adventure, wandering through the park and stopping to take photos of anything that caught their attention. Emma felt a rush of creativity as she snapped shots of blooming flowers, playful squirrels, and the glistening pond reflecting the blue sky above. As they explored, they shared stories about their lives, dreams, and aspirations. Emma opened up about her desire to travel and explore different cultures, while Alex shared his passion for adventure and outdoor photography. Each shared experience drew them closer together, creating a deeper understanding of one another. At one point, they stumbled upon a breathtaking grove of cherry blossom trees in full bloom. The petals fluttered down like confetti, creating a magical atmosphere that felt almost surreal. Emma's heart raced as she set up her camera to capture the moment. "Let's take a few photos together," she suggested, her excitement palpable. "Great idea," Alex replied, positioning himself beside her. They took turns capturing playful shots, laughter echoing through the grove as they embraced the moment. Emma felt a sense of pure joy as she stood beside Alex, their connection deepening with each click of the shutter. After an hour of exploring the park, they found a quiet spot to sit and review their photos. Emma couldn't help but admire the candid moments they had captured together. "Look at this one," she said, pointing to a picture of Alex laughing amidst the blossoms. "You look so happy." "It's hard not to be when I'm with you," he replied, his eyes sparkling with sincerity. Emma felt her cheeks flush at his words, a warm flutter spreading through her. "I'm really enjoying this," she said, her voice softening. "You make it easy to just be myself." Their gazes locked for a moment, and Emma felt a shift in the air around them, a magnetic pull that made her heart race. She sensed the possibility of something more blossoming between them, something deeper than friendship. In that instant, she took a leap of faith, leaning closer. "Alex, can I ask you something?" "Anything," he replied, his tone earnest. "What do you see happening between us?" Emma asked, her heart pounding. "I mean, beyond just this whatever this is." Alex took a deep breath, his expression thoughtful. "I've been thinking about that too. I really enjoy spending time with you, and I feel a connection that's hard to ignore. I don't want to rush anything, but I'm definitely open to exploring where this could go." Emma felt a wave of relief wash over her, mixed with excitement. "I'd like that," she said softly, her heart racing. "I think we could really be something special." Their moment hung in the air, charged with unspoken feelings and possibilities. The world around them faded away as they leaned closer, the cherry blossoms swirling like confetti in the wind. Then, almost instinctively, they both leaned in, their lips meeting in a soft, tentative kiss. The warmth of the moment enveloped them, and Emma felt a rush of emotions surge through her. It was a kiss that felt like the beginning of something beautiful, a new chapter in both of their lives. As they pulled away, breathless and smiling, Emma knew she was stepping into uncharted territory, but she felt ready to embrace it. The thrill of possibility surged within her, and she couldn't wait to see where this journey with Alex would lead. The days following their first kiss were filled with an intoxicating blend of excitement and nervousness. Emma found herself floating through her routine, her mind often drifting to thoughts of Alex. Each moment spent together deepened their connection, revealing layers of understanding and affection she had never expected to experience so soon. They continued their photography adventures, exploring the vibrant streets of their city, capturing candid moments, and laughing at each other's playful antics. Emma felt as if she were living in a dream, each photo serving as a snapshot of their growing bond. One weekend, they decided to take a short road trip to a nearby beach known for its stunning sunsets. The journey was filled with music, laughter, and meaningful conversations that brought them even closer. Emma felt a sense of ease with Alex, a comfort that allowed her to open up about her past, her struggles, and her triumphs. He listened intently, never interrupting, always encouraging her to share more. "Thank you for being so understanding," Emma said as they strolled along the shore, the waves lapping at their feet. "It's refreshing to talk about these things with someone who truly cares." "I appreciate your honesty," Alex replied, his gaze warm and reassuring. "It's important for me to know the real you, and I'm here to support you through it all." As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, Emma felt a surge of hope and gratitude. The moment felt surreal, as if the universe had conspired to bring them together. They found a quiet spot on the beach, laying out a blanket to watch the sunset, their fingers intertwined. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow across the water, Emma turned to Alex. "This is perfect," she said, her heart swelling. "I never imagined I could feel this happy again." Alex smiled, his expression sincere. "You deserve every bit of happiness, Emma. I'm glad we found each other." The weight of his words hung in the air, and Emma felt a rush of emotions. "I know we haven't known each other long, but I feel like I can trust you," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I want to explore what we have together." "I feel the same way," he said, his eyes glimmering in the fading light. "Let's take it one day at a time, but I'm excited to see where this leads us." With a newfound sense of hope, Emma leaned in, capturing the moment with another kiss. It was tender and sweet, a promise of what was to come. As they pulled away, she felt a sense of peace wash over her, knowing she had found someone who understood her heart. The following weeks unfolded beautifully. Emma and Alex continued to explore their relationship, sharing their dreams, fears, and laughter. They discovered new interests together, taking cooking classes, attending art shows, and hiking scenic trails. Each experience brought them closer, allowing Emma to embrace the joy of being in a healthy relationship. Emma also started to focus on her personal growth. She signed up for a photography course, eager to learn more about her passion and refine her skills. With Alex's encouragement, she felt empowered to chase her dreams and pursue her artistic endeavors. It was liberating to invest in herself, to prioritize her happiness. One evening, as they sat on the balcony of Emma's apartment, watching the stars twinkle in the night sky, she felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. "I can't believe how far I've come since we met," she said, her heart full. "You've helped me rediscover so much about myself." "I'm glad to hear that," Alex replied, his gaze steady. "You're an incredible person, Emma. I'm lucky to be a part of your journey." Their connection felt like a gentle embrace, something solid and grounding amid the chaos of life. Emma knew that she had found not only a partner, but also a friend, a confidant, who understood her in ways she had never thought possible. As the months passed, they navigated life's ups and downs together, supporting each other through challenges and celebrating each other's victories. Emma learned to embrace vulnerability, to trust in the process, and to let love flourish without fear. One fateful evening, as they strolled hand in hand through a picturesque park, the golden light of sunset illuminating their path, Alex stopped and turned to Emma. "There's something I've been meaning to ask you," he said, his voice serious yet tender. Emma felt her heart race, a mix of excitement and curiosity. "What is it?" He took a deep breath, his eyes searching hers. "I know we haven't been together long, but I can't imagine my life without you. Would you be open to taking the next step in our relationship?" Emma's breath caught in her throat as her heart swelled with emotion. "Are you asking me to be your girlfriend?" she asked, her voice a blend of excitement and disbelief. "Yes," he replied, a smile breaking across his face. "I want us to be together, officially. I believe we have something truly special." A wave of joy washed over Emma as she realized how far she had come. "Yes, I would love that," she exclaimed, her heart soaring. Alex pulled her into a warm embrace, and Emma felt a sense of completeness. They had built a beautiful connection based on trust, honesty, and mutual respect. In that moment, surrounded by nature and each other, Emma knew she was ready to embrace the future with Alex by her side. As they walked back home, their fingers entwined, Emma felt an overwhelming sense of hope for what lay ahead. She had faced her fears, embraced her passions, and discovered the power of love. The journey of self-discovery had led her to a place of fulfillment, and she was excited to see where this new chapter with Alex would take her. With the sun setting behind them, casting a warm glow over their path, Emma felt certain of one thing: she was finally on the right track, ready to embrace the beautiful journey of life, love, and everything in between.